Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of After Hours with Nia. This is usually on my Patreon, but today I'm sharing it with everyone because of this super important and just incredible story. So today we have Helen from Elemental Healing, which I'll have her information below. You can go follow her. She is all the way from the United Kingdom, and she does energy work, Reiki healing, and tarot readings as well. Also, for people who don't know, Reiki is the Japanese word for universal life force energy. This is a healing energy that's available to all of us. Just we as masters and practitioners, we channel that energy to heal other people. So you have a really incredible story we're going to get into. But first, I love your accent. So where are you from again?
So I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne in the UK, and that's like up north. Newcastle, it's in the northeast.
Yeah, I tried to look it up. It's interesting to me though, because as an American, like your accent sounds like Scotland to me.
Yeah, well, we're right next to Scotland. Does it sound Scottish?
That's what I think. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. We're quite squeaky though and like high pitch. But they call us Geordies. We're called Geordies. And we're like known to be like the happiest people from the UK. The kindest, nicest, happiest people. You can look it up. It's true. It's a true thing.
I can see that because I think the stereotype of English people is that they're more moody and like serious.
And like stuck up and snobby a little bit. Yeah, we're nothing like that up north.
Oh, that's awesome.
Scottish people, I find are quite miserable. So we're like just like, yeah, I don't know, but Geordies are like known to be just loads of fun. Like if you came to Newcastle for a night out, you'd have the best time ever.
Ooh, I just might. I'll hang out with you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I had you on the show today because you shared with me that you were able to use Reiki to heal your son's leg before it was amputated.
Yeah.
So what is the story? Like, what was wrong?
So he broke his leg when he was 5. And you know, like normal kids, they break their leg, you get a cast on, 6 weeks, they take it off you go, everything's fine. And they did that with Mason. My son's called Mason. And a year went by and he was still just having this limp. And he was running and walking with this limp and never ever complained of pain or anything like that. He just had this slight limp. Took him back to the hospital and they said, look, like his break's never healed. It's never actually healed. So then they were like, look, we're going to get like metal wearing and things, like different procedures, and just everything went wrong. Like everything went terribly, terribly bad. From 2017 up till 2021. It was just like constant. And he honestly must have broke his leg about 12 times in that space of time. Honestly. Everything just went wrong. It was just like he was just in this bubble of bad luck that no one understood. Like doctors didn't know. Like all his other bones were strong. Everything was fine. It was just this one leg, his left leg, just wouldn't heal.
And I think a lot of times too, with most doctors, when it's an injury with a child, I feel like they don't almost take it as seriously because they're like, oh, they're so young, they'll get back up and run around.
Yeah,
did you experience that?
Yeah, like they just didn't have any empathy for how hard it was for him to like. I mean, he had a cast up to his thigh for like a year. He was in a cast, so like he couldn't play out. He couldn't play football. He was in his room. I don't know what I would have done if we didn't have a PlayStation for him because, like, and they were just like, you know, walk on it, and the pain, like the pain that he was in was excruciating, like honestly excruciating. Everything he did, the slightest knock, he was in bed for weeks getting over that, and get the courage to get up again and go about his day, and it would just happen again. And not only that, it would break. Like a slight knock would break it again.
So and then where Reiki comes in, I remember we did at least one of the classes one-on-one like this. Do you remember what year it was? Maybe 2022?
So I first it was in lockdown. Because that's when I first started healing him with Reiki, was in lockdown. So I definitely done my level 2 with you in 2020. And then me level 1 in 2020, sorry, and then I think level 2 might have been 2020, or level 3, I think it was 2022. It was in that space time, within them 2 years, I done all my levels with you, yeah.
And so did you, as soon as you learned level 1, did you start trying to work with him, or what was the
Yeah.
process?
So I'll start a little bit at the beginning because it kind of links in. But so when Mason was 5, when Mason was 1, actually, we'll start there. I got into a relationship with someone, and he was in our life for like 4 years, and this man was very, very, very abusive to me. You know, he was psychological, mental, physical, all of it. But with my son, he was his best friend, and he gave him so much quality time and love and attention. Like, they were literally like this. Mason would call him my best buddy. Like, they would play for hours, day in, day out. Like, we just had such a beautiful bond. And it was really confusing for me because I knew he was fucking with me, but I could see him just be this lovely man to my child. And it was like, what is this? Fast forward to 4 years, the relationship eventually ended, and this man just dropped Mason like a bag of hammers, literally, like just dropped him. I had like a happy, content, thriving little boy to just the next day just completely depressed and grieving and sad. And it was like a really so emotional for him because he was so young. He couldn't understand what he was feeling, and why has this happened? Where's he gone? Like, why doesn't he want to say it? Like, and it was just, I was then like waking up to like the abuse that he was putting me through, but also like, you've used my child as a form of manipulation, and you've hurt me. You've tried to hurt me through my child, and you've broke my child's heart. So it was such an emotional time for me and him, and I was not stable throughout that. Just coming to terms with the abuse and things, like, I was not in a stable place. So you've got to think, for him at 5, like, his whole level of safety was just completely wiped from under his feet. Like, he what was safety to him then? Like, it was gone. Like, he did not feel safe at that time. And that was something we really went through together. Like, there was nights we would cry together. We would cry honestly, we would. Like, he got me through that and I got him through that, and it was, I don't know what we would have done if we didn't have each other. So, like, that's a really important part of this, and I need to say that. So a year later, Mason then first broke his leg, and we kind of dealt with that. We didn't think anything of it. Another year went by. We moved into this house that I'm in now. That was a fresh start. Like, life's gonna get better now. And when I moved in this house, you'll think I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but everything links together perfectly by the time I finish this story. When I first moved in this house, we hadn't moved in properly yet. I was just getting it ready, decorating and things. And I knew there was a spirit in this house. I just knew it. Yeah. But I didn't get a bad feeling, but I just felt it. For the first time in my life, I felt a spirit.
It's like a presence. Like, it's not bad, but it's something is there.
Something's there, yeah. So as we moved in, we're settling in and things, and she's really letting me know she's here. So she's running along me landing, and she's opening the bedroom doors, she's turning taps on. But I still never felt scared. It was a really weird thing. I got mediums in the house, and they were like, look, like, she's a mother, and she just feels really drawn to your children. So I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, like, just trying to manage this, like, bless the house, sage the house. Like, during this time, like, the spirit in this house spurred on my spiritual awakening. So if I didn't move in this house, I don't know if I would have had the spiritual awakening that I would have had, because I'm quite I need concrete, or I'm quite critical. So I needed that proof. And then when that happened, I just started like opening up and really just third eye vision, spirit, like all these things was happening. But during that time, my son was going through it. Like, he was like break after break, hospital all the time, infections. So this is when I say he was like had such bad luck. Like, it wasn't just the breaks, but every time he was going into hospital and having operations and new metalware, like it just went wrong. Like, he would come out and he would have an infection, or the metalware would break, or he'd fall and get another break in another place, and would go in hospital, and then he'd get another infection, and it just went on and on like this. So, like, the things were just like, I just didn't know what the hell was going on, but I was like doing my best to, like, I have to do something. As a mother, you're like super protective. Like, I can't allow this. Anything in my power, I'm going to do. So I went to like spiritual development classes. I'd done my degree in health and social care because the system was just letting them down so much, and I wanted to just fill in them gaps that they weren't helping them with. Went to spiritual development classes, and the first time I went there, it was just like Reiki in my head. And I didn't even know what Reiki was. I had no idea. I didn't even know how to spell it. And it was like spelled like the right way in my head. And I was like, right, okay, like this is obviously where I'm going to go. That was in 2018. That was. So I was like, right. So I kind of like knew that eventually I'm like going to work towards that, which I did. And then I learned about the chakras and the energy and stuff. And I learned, obviously, your root chakra is your safety and your stability, and like you're rooted. It keeps you like you're rooted to the ground, where you're home, everything. So I'm like, well, this is Mason's leg. And they root him to the ground. Like, they keep him strong and stable and safe. And I'm like, this is all starting to make sense. So I'm like linking it back to what he went through, because I know how much that affected him. I know that deeply, like so much. That really affected him in a huge way. So I'm like, right, I've got something here. Like, I've gone to you. You were like sunflower healing then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old days.
But you are so cute, man. You are so lovely. And I don't know how I even came across you, but I did. And you were doing readings.
It's God.
Yeah. And you know what else? Like, I was meditating because I was so lost at that time, just desperate for help. And they used to show us a sunflower all the time, like before I came across you. And I was like a bloody sunflower. Like, I need more than a sunflower.
Yeah.
Like, give me more than that, please. And then obviously when you came along, and I was so drawn to you, like I didn't know what it was. And I just admired you so much. You inspired us and everything. Like, you've had such a like influence on me in my journey. Like, you really have, honestly. And yeah, and then I seen you were doing Reiki and things, so I was like, oh, the sunflower makes so much sense. So that's when I reached out to you and I learned Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, do you know what? I think I'd only had my level 1 at this point, but I was like starting just experimenting and just learning the energy and like how to do it with him. But Mason was so angry with the world. Like, he didn't believe in this. He didn't want to. He was just like, no, like, I hate the world. Like, leave me alone. So that like was just kind of blocking it, and it was knocking my confidence as well. And I wanted it to be a nice experience for him. I didn't want to trigger him. So I decided to do it when he was asleep. So I was doing it in my bedroom, and he was in his room asleep, and I would get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, and I would just send him Reiki. And I knew he was asleep, he was relaxed, he was open, and I would just send him Reiki. And honestly, the healing experiences that I had in that space, like, honestly, I've got no, that makes me emotional, because I think it's every mom's dream, like, to just experience that. And like, the main one that I had with him was I was like sending Reiki, and I was totally connected to him, and I connected to the 5-year-old him. Honestly, this will make me cry. Anything.
It's okay.
the 5-year-old him, and he was just, I could feel his pain, like the loss, the grief, like just how sad he was. And I just heard his voice, his little 5-year-old voice, and I can hear it now. And he was just like, "I'm sorry, mommy, I'm sorry." And he really thought that it was his fault
Yeah.
why he left. Like, and I think that's such a normal way how a child would feel. They think,
Mhm.
"Oh, I should have been naughty, or I should have eaten my tea, or I should have done something. Like, I should have been good." Like, that's how a child would process that, isn't it? And I was just had him, like, I had the energy of the 5-year-old him in me hands, and I was like, "It's okay, like, you're safe, this is never gonna happen again, mom's got you, I'm not going anywhere," like, and I was like, tears were streaming down my
Oh,
face, like, I had shorts on, like pajama shorts, and they were just dripping on my legs, like, just tears, but his emotions were moving through me, and I was able to like meet him at that age and hold space for that little boy who just he couldn't do that then. So it was like such a healing experience from so many perspectives. Do you know what I mean? It was
yes.
like I'm incredibly lucky to have been able to do that, and without Reiki, that would not have happened. It
Mhm.
really wouldn't have. And there was like another time where they took me back to when me and Mason were in bed crying together, and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and we're like lying on the side. And Archangel Michael just got his sword and just like put it through the middle of her, and this water just kind of like just see that that's our faces. The water just like moved away, like all that water was with both of our emotions. And
Yeah.
he just cleared it. Like I cleared the karma, I cleared the energy, like I removed it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So that was the root of the condition. That was the root of his illness.
I love this so much because I experience so many similar instances like this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes people think I'm just trying to sell them something. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
oh, this crazy thing happened to me. Everybody book with me. But like, no, like I'm trying to tell you guys this is real. And
Yeah.
you're a mother and you helped your own son. And like you said, for a mother to be able to do that, I want to teach all the moms, all the dads, the
Same.
uncles, the grandparents, because this is so impactful. And like, thank you, by the way. You're so brave and strong for sharing this because I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. But I'm sorry, continue with what you were saying.
No, no, you're right though. Like that's exactly how I feel. Like mother, how many mothers out there would love to be able to do that, and you've just got to acknowledge energy, and emotions are energy, and they get stuck, especially for children. Like
Yeah.
childhood trauma is huge. It's
Yeah.
like every child has got a level of trauma in them that they're
Yeah.
just running away from all the time. And if
Yeah.
if I didn't heal that in him, God knows where we would have been. Like even take away the illness, how that psychologically would have affected him was it's just unthinkable. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So so yes, that was the root of cause of why Mason got that illness, why his leg couldn't heal, because his root chakra was completely blocked. There was no energy able to move through that to heal the leg and
Mhm.
get that energy. Do you know what I mean?
And also,
So
one thing I want to add really quick, usually if one chakra is off, they pretty much all are. But what I've
yeah,
noticed the most is if your root chakra is messed up or blocked or whatever, so is your crown, which is your connection to God. So it's not just your
yeah,
connection to being safe on earth, but your connection to spirit. So the fact that at first he was resistant to what you wanted to do
that makes
was because
sense.
of that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And his attitude now is totally different.
Is he more
Like
spiritual or open to it?
he's not more spiritual. He's still a bit like that's uncool. Like he's 15, teenage boy. Like he's got to
Yeah.
keep his street cred,
Yeah.
but he, but he lets me do Reiki on him now, and he feels the difference. And he said because I didn't. He's never been ready to talk about this. It's always been a trigger. He's never been ready, and I was like, look, like this is such an amazing story. Like, look at what we've gone through. Like, this deserves to be heard. And he was just like cut me off real quick, and he was like, well, I know you healed it with Reiki because once you started doing Reiki, it got better. And he's never, like, that shocked me so much.
Yeah.
Like, because he just hated it. He just thought it was ridiculous. he was just like, what shit are you talking, ma'am? Like, it's just, do you know what I mean? Just shut up.
That is awesome. Oh my God.
So, like, the magic of that is just incredible. Incredible. So, there's another little bit of this that's just equally important. So, that was, we'll say, 2021. And no, sorry, that was 2019, 2020, around that time. And then we're fast forward to 2021 in March. I mean, that time from that healing with that to 2021 in March was the longest we'd had without a break, without an infection, without a hospital trip, without something going wrong. So I was feeling really good. I was like, right, like this is, I've made progress here. And then out of the blue one day, I was in my garden doing my gardening, and I just heard him scream from around the corner. And that cry, I'll just, like, my body's trembling just thinking of that, like total PTSD response. Like, I heard him scream, and I just ran round, and he'd fell off his scooter and landed on his leg, and we just knew that he broke it. We just knew. So I was like, right, like my body. So I was like, right, we took him to hospital, and they were like quite happy that he didn't need another operation. The metalware that he had in there was going to do its work, and we'll just see how he goes. So obviously it was just, I just brought it all back, all that trauma, and it was like, he was older now, he wasn't little, he was like 12, and like just hearing it older and cry like that, it was really just not nice at all. And anyway, so from March up to October, we waited to see if it would heal. Got to October and it hadn't healed at all. It did nothing. So I was like, right. So the doctor sat me down and they were like, look, like, we're really clutching at the last straws right now. Like, we don't have many other options. I think we really need to think about amputation. So that word like haunted me for years. And now I'm in the doctor's room and he's saying it to us. And I have to now bring this to my child. And like when you go through a spiritual awakening, like all your relationships fall apart, like all your friends, all your family, like he had me and I had him now. Like I didn't have anyone supporting me at all. So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get him through this? Like, I don't feel strong enough. Like, and I really prayed and prayed, and I was like, no, like this can't happen. Like, this can't happen. I've worked too hard. Like, this can't happen. So I went to my altar this week. That was on the Friday, and on the weekend I went to my altar and I prayed so hard, and I prayed to God, and I was like, show me what is wrong. Show me what is wrong. Tell me what is wrong. I need to know. And I was so scared to know, because I was thinking like he's going to lose it now. But I just had to know. Like, I'd really had to be so brave and courageous in that moment. And I was like, just show me, just show me. So I connected with Mason, and they showed me Mason. And they showed me a woman's spirit behind him. And this spirit in the house had attached to him. Because his vibration was so low, she just plugged right into him. Yeah. And she was literally sucking the life out of him. Like, she was just feeding off his energy. Like,
because it was keeping her like alive.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So I was just like, I mean, I'd connected with spirit come with, but I was like, I need to send her to the light. Like, I've never done this before. Like, what do I do? But it made so much sense. Like, I can honestly say the whole time through this period, that was always in the back of my head. That was always a thought where I'm like, has this spirit attached to him? Is she feeding off him? Like, but I was just so scared about it. I was just like, no, like that, it won't be. Surely not. Like, that's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I called in Archangel Michael straight away. He opened this portal, and I just sent her to the light. And I was like, you've got to go. Like, you've got to go now. Like, look for the light, find the light. And Archangel Michael was like, guide now. And Mason was here, the portal was here, and she just walked past me, like, in my like mind's eye, like just walked past. And Archangel Michael standing at the portal, and off she goes. And I was
Yes.
like, is that it? Is it that easy to do? Like, what the hell? But I was so shocked at the same time. I was like, oh
Mhm.
my God, like,
I will say you're so lucky though that it was just a spirit and not like a demonic entity, because
I
that is
know.
true. It's very easy to get rid of, little attachments and stuff, but when it's
Yeah.
something that's dark, dark.
Oh, I know. And I've had that as well. But like, oh
Jesus,
God,
Jesus.
I don't want to scare anyone either. I was thinking, do I say this? But I have to, because it's the truth. It's the truth. And I don't like, I think, do you know what? Like, a lot of physical symptoms are very much spiritually related. And I think that's a real key message that like people don't realize. Like,
Mhm.
there are attachments like that can just
Yeah,
so important to be like hygienic with your energy. And this is why Reiki is so fucking amazing. So amazing.
it is.
So yeah, that was 2021 October, and we are now 3 years later. And it just dawned on me. Obviously, I've been on such a healing journey myself. Like I said here at the beginning, like this past year, I've been so deep in it. I haven't really like. He's just been going to school, getting on with his life. I've just been deep in my trauma, like, and I just seen him walking up the street, and he wasn't limping anymore. Like, he's just walking normally, and he was like, he's 15, he's getting bigger now, and I was like, wow, like he's not limping, like he's. And then I was like, oh my God, like he hasn't even complained of pain in so long. Like, he's had no accidents in so long. He's just been living a normal life like the past year. And I'm like, oh my God, Reiki has actually done this. Like, it just, how I did it, I think because I was like still very much in like the emotions of the situation. Like, because I was grieving like the life that we could have had, and like grieving my little boy, my happy little boy, and I was like lost in that like I just had this moment where I was like, we are actually not even there anymore, because look at him, like he came home tonight with his first football strip, and he's joined the school's team, and he's having his first match next week, like,
And has
you
he
know.
not been able to do that since he got hurt?
The doctor said you'll never be able to play football again. You'll never have sport. You'll
Oh
never
my
be able to
God.
be active. I know, Naima. I know. But like, you come in my life and you helped me do that at the same time. Like, do
I'm
you know what I
trying not
mean?
to
Like,
cry. I'm sorry. But just the fact that they literally said like he would never like do any of that stuff and like he's fine. Like,
and that's what broke his heart the most. He sat watching all his friends play football and be normal boys and live a normal life, and he's sitting in a wheelchair just watching, like, for years in pain. And now he's like, he got his little strip out and he's dead proud and happy with himself. And I was like, oh my God. And that's happened today of all days when I'm sharing my story. And
wait,
it's
so
just,
today this happened?
this happened today after he come in
Oh
from
my God.
school and got his strip out.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like that's so cosmic because even today, like Instagram and everything shut down.
Yeah.
So like the internet stopped working for a while, like everywhere. And then we were planning this today. He gets on the team today. Like, this is a very powerful thing that's happening right now. Like,
I know.
I don't care if only like 5 people watch. This is like something that's so like earth shatteringly like crazy. And what's crazy too is, you didn't even have to like summon some entity or like do any crazy shit. It was literally just you channeling God's healing energy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really believing that you could help your son and trusting your own visions, trusting what was being shown to you.
Yeah.
Because I think some people think, oh, like I'm being crazy or whatever.
Yeah. Because you would just never think that. Like, I think like the trauma part of it, like the loss he went through and stuff, like, yeah, but people aren't even that aware of like how trauma can affect them in that way. Like, they don't realize. They just don't realize how much of a profound impact it can have.
It definitely
And
does.
yeah, and like the spirit thing, like, that can happen. And like, look at the magic that it done once I got rid of that. Like, nobody thought we would be here. He didn't, I didn't, everyone around her who's watched her all these years, Like it's a fucking miracle. It's an honest miracle. And do you know what else? Like I demanded it to happen. I was like, no, like he deserves the fucking world and he's been through enough and I'm his mom and I will do anything. I will literally do anything. Like show me, tell me, I will do it. And I think just that bravery and courage, like it takes you places. Like that love though, that mother love can just do so much.
Yeah. You know, that
It really
actually,
can.
this is like, it might seem random, but it just reminded me of actually in Harry Potter. And when they're talking about his backstory, the thing that saved him from being killed by Voldemort was his mother's love.
Oh my god! Oh
Yeah,
my
so
god! I
I
did
know
not.
it's just a stupid story, but love
No,
really
but
is the highest vibration.
I think there's so much like little things in Harry Potter that make so much sense.
Yeah.
Like there is on the magical sense of it, but
Yeah.
also with this Nia, like you've got to think like everything that happened was divinely orchestrated to happen. Like I know my son went through horrific things, but if I didn't move in this house and I didn't see that spirit, I would never have spiritually awakened. I would never have been led to you. I would have never have led to Reiki so that I could heal him and remove that and send out the light. Like he's got a story now. Like he doesn't see that yet, but I know he is such a special being to have on this world. Like when he gets older and he can own this, he's going to bring so much to this world, so much to the people around him. Right now, he has a lot of shame about it because the world made him feel like he should be ashamed because he was in a wheelchair, because he wasn't able like other kids. You know, he did deal with a lot of that, but
Yeah.
I know that I will work on him and help him to own this, and he can help so many people with this story, with
Yeah.
what he went through at such a young age.
I
Like
totally agree. And I'm glad that you can see that because I think some people get stuck in the pain of, I wish it never happened to you at all, or, you know, I wish
yeah,
you were perfect the whole time. But no, like, he could change people's lives. And even just
no,
you
he could.
telling his story is already changing lives.
Yeah, and the strength he's gained from this, like he doesn't see it yet, but when he gets older, he really will. Like he'll think, "Fucking hell, I went through that as a child, like over and over and over again."
Wait, so you said his first injury was at 5 years old?
Oh, sorry. Did I? Yeah, no. So the trauma happened at 5, but it
Oh,
was like when he was 6 that he first broke his leg.
okay. So
It
he
was like a
first broke
year
his leg
later.
at 6, and then he recovered at, how old was he when he recovered?
He was he's 15 now. So the last break he had was when he was 12. And then from that break was when I removed the spirit and everything. And then the past 3 years have
Yeah.
just been, I
So
think
that's
it's
a
just,
long time. He was going through that for a long time. And I
so
think
that
that's
was all
another
his
thing.
childhood gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing that people should keep in mind no matter how old or young you are. Even if something happens at 2 years old, it could stick with you until you're 90 years old if you
No,
don't deal with it.
yeah, so true, so true. And I like, how would he have ever dealt with that if I wasn't
Mhm.
opening that channel for that healing? Or
Yep.
if and not me, but if someone else could, like, I think if I did take him out of that Reiki practitioner, I really feel like he needed that from me.
Hmm.
And like it was because that time it was just so traumatic for us both. Like
Hmm.
he needed he needed me to hold him as his mother when he was 5. Like I needed him to open to me so that we could both like just release and heal. Like, and I was doing it every day. Like, you can't go to a Reiki practitioner every day. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like he really needed a lot of
Yeah.
healing.
And I hate to say it, but unfortunately, you know, you could have went to a Reiki practitioner who might not have cared as much or just kind of was like,
Yeah,
all right, good vibes. And, you know, so I
yeah,
it was good that you did it, but also just, oh, there's so many things I could say, but it's just, I think it's healing for you. It's healing for him. It empowers you as a healer, as a human being, as a
yeah,
mother. And,
yeah.
you know, you can teach him so much. And, oh, this is just so beautiful.
And not to mention, I've got a little girl who has watched this whole thing, and she's like a mini me in the making. So she's just taken it all in. Like she believes in all of it.
You know, why
These
don't you just adopt me and the 4 of us will be, like,
Yes!
together doing our magic?
Please move to the UK or I'll come to America because I've always wanted to go America.
Have you never been to the United
I've
States?
never been. I've never been.
It's
It's
alright.
it's definitely on my bucket list. I will have to come and see you. It has to happen. I would
Yes,
love
totally.
that so much. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So,
I know.
I wanted to ask you some questions,
Of
if you don't mind.
course not.
So, I understand that you kinda started having a spiritual awakening, but maybe before that or at the beginning of that, how did it feel, though, as a mother watching your son go through this? Like, did you feel powerless? Like, what was going through your head?
So like with the leg situation, do you mean?
Mhm.
It just broke my heart. Like that's all it genuine I've been through a lot and I genuinely have, and that's a whole other time. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot, but that is the biggest pain of my heart. Like it just broke us. Like he deserved. I already knew the pain he went through at 5. Like that's bad enough. No one wants that for their child. But to just see him like just go like break and pain and bad news and bad news and break and pain and bad news, like just constantly for like years and years. And all I could really do was make him comfortable, learn as much as I could, and be then. Like I think understanding them is like because the professionals, like teachers, mental health professionals, the system in general, just did not know what to do with him because his situation was so complex and chronic. Like they just, oh well, he looks fine. Like he's just got to get on with it. Like just
Yeah.
come on, Mason. Like no, actually, fucking no. Like no, that's not how it is. And no one could level with him. Like because they're just seeing a normal boy, but he's got a broken leg. They just think, oh, he's got a broken leg. Like it's not that big of a deal. But that broken leg affected everything.
Yeah.
And if anything though, like I learned so much. And I'll tell you one thing I learned was how much people look down at people who are disabled, how ignorant people are, and that shocked me. Like that's a perspective I would never have had. I would
Mhm.
never have seen that, experienced that, and that's changed me deeply.
Mhm.
Like, because people just well, like we did. Matt, I'm walking along, pushing my son in a wheelchair. Like, you don't even come in their vision because you're inadequate. Like,
They don't even wanna look at you because it's like shame.
yeah, and you don't bring anything to society. Therefore, you're just in the way. Like, you're just
Yeah.
nothing. Like, you don't bring anything. Like,
Yeah,
you're littler than me. You're smaller than me. So I'm gonna push past you and go through the door first. And I'm not gonna. Do you know what I mean? Like just the comments and the remarks and the looks and
yeah.
like that shocked me so much. And he's sitting there and he's I'm not the only one noticing it. Like he knows.
And
And
he's a young kid, so that's a lot.
and kids say mean things, friends say mean things because the parents aren't giving them, that perspective, but they don't have it either. So it's a vicious circle. It happens, but like that was just so sad for me. Like I just wanted to see him free and running and living and doing all the things that he was watching everybody else do.
Mhm.
So it just broke my heart. It just like my whole life stopped. Like and I went to uni. I wanted to do my degree, but I had to like take a break from that because emotionally I just couldn't handle it. I just needed to be with him.
Well,
So
I understand what you mean about, people with disabilities not taking us seriously or taking care of them the way that they need. About 2 episodes ago on the show, I had my friend Chronically Fit with Kiara. She suffers from various chronic illnesses, and
yeah.
it's so sad. Just even among our group of friends, they say, "Oh, Mary's pretending to be sick, but we all know she doesn't want to be here." And I'm like, why would she want to miss out on this event where all
Yeah,
of her friends are at?
yeah, yeah.
So
It's
it really
it's
is
that.
sad.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it really just is sad, and not only that, but I feel like whether you're no matter who you are. I think some people think, oh, well, if you're a woman, you're not taken seriously, or if you're a minority or a child, not. I feel like most people are not taken seriously when they go see a health professional.
No, they're
And you know,
not.
if your doctor is like, oh, just take these pills before he even asks how you're sleeping, how your life is
Mhm.
going, like it's just such a scam. They're just trying to make money off of you. Nobody
Yeah.
actually cares. There's no heart, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the big thing is like there's no like especially professionals, there's no trauma informed approach to this person. Even if they've got an illness, there's trauma attached to that illness. You
Yeah.
know, like just dealing with the illness, even if it didn't stem from trauma, there's trauma that that illness is going to create for that person. So it's like it's not about like what's wrong with that person, it's what happened, like what's happened, and hold space for that. Like let's not just look down at people. Like this is what I'm so passionate about. Like really, I done all my work at uni around trauma informed care because like even just me personally, I've been on the receiving end of that. Like I've been judged because I'm angry, or like, why am I angry? Why am
Yeah.
I angry? Someone ask me that question, please. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like when I was a teen or early 20s, whatever, like there's just a judgment straight away. And there's just no trauma informed approach. Like we all deal with trauma, like whatever level it is. Some have it severely, some have it just a little bit, but it's impacted them in a way that makes them feel like they can't be who they want to be, or they need to hide, or you know that they've lost that authenticity. They
Hmm.
don't feel like they can show up in the world. Like let's hold space for that. Like let's be there. Let's
Hmm.
understand that. Like because it's a real thing.
And
Even for
another thing
children.
too is, sorry to cut you off.
No.
Um, I love that you mentioned you started to learn about the chakras and how the root chakra and the leg made sense. If anybody's watching this, you need to learn at least the very basics of chakras. You know,
Yeah.
um, the parts of the body are connected to different emotions, and you will notice physical symptoms. For instance, actually, I don't remember what year it was, but a couple years ago, one of my clients booked a Reiki session for her father who was in the hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
all she told me was that he was in a coma. I didn't know anything about him, but I did his Reiki and I said, listen, his throat is completely blocked. He has not expressed himself in his life. He has a
Oh
lot of
my
things to
gosh.
say. Like nobody's listening to him. And guess what he was sick with? He had throat cancer.
I was about to say throat. I hate saying the C word though. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
no, I know.
really?
But it's he ended up I actually ended up helping him kind of transition into
Right.
the other side.
Amazing.
Because it was too bad. I mean, he was too far gone, but at least I was able to
Honestly.
tell. I was able to speak for him and say, "Hey, like you guys really should have listened to him while he was trying to express himself." You
Wow. Oh
know?
my god. But
So
it's
it
real.
goes deep. Yeah, it goes deep.
It really is real thing. If you leave that long enough, like it's it's even bigger issue. Do you know what I mean? It is. And but it's like learning the somatics and the energetics of the body. Like we're not just a physical body. Like we have energy running through us. That's how we are alive. We
Yeah.
just need to learn how to work with that energy and let our bodies speak to us, like through the pain and the tension, and like feel into it and allow your body to release it. Like learning to like work with your body and talking with your body
Hmm.
was the game changer for me. Like this year has been like huge with that for me. Like
Hmm.
really so much because there was just being a mom. Like your kids come first, especially with what we went through. My emotional needs were completely just pushed back. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just surviving through every day, like giving him everything I had, and my daughter as well, who was in the midst of this. Um, so like, and then it literally like one day I came to you actually. I got Reiki from you. One day I was like, it was in lockdown. So before lockdown, we had 2 months in hospital near, and he had an operation and he got an infection. And have you heard of MRSA? Do they have MRSA over yours? It's
I don't
like
know.
so it's an infection that's in hospitals and it's like a super bug infection. So it's like it's what's the word where it like mutates? Is that the word? Mutate?
Yeah,
Into like a
mutate.
super bug. because it's just like got immune to like antibiotics, and then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just grew and grew
Yeah.
and grew. So he's had that many infections. He was immune to the antibiotics. Went for an operation, got MRSA in his bone, in his actual bone, because they moved bone from his hip and put it in his leg.
Oh, in his bone. In his bone.
Yeah, yeah. So they moved bone from his hip, put it in his leg. He's got MRSA. He come out of this operation and he was grey, Nia. Honestly, he was grey. I was like, there's something wrong. Like, he looked, I don't want to say it, but I thought I was losing him. Like, I genuinely thought he was going. Like, I was like, something's not right. They were like, oh, he's fine. He just needs to come round. I was like, no, something is not right. Like, he's not okay. Like, and with the sent were home, and he ended up getting this big tennis ball lump of pus
Oh my
just
god.
pouring out, and was back to hospital. And they're like, oh, he's got an infection. Oh, he's got MRSA. I'm like, what do you mean he's got MRSA? Oh, it's in the bone. If you didn't bring him here, like, this could have took his life. Like, I'm like, oh, you just casually put that in there. And I'm sitting there like, are you joking me? Like,
But see, that's what I mean is like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. I've heard
there's
that way too many times. Like, can somebody
mm-hmm.
just give a damn about what we're going through?
There was just nothing like that, nothing. And then, you know, I was like, look, I want him back in the operating table because I want you to clean it, because he had a cast on, and I wanted them to take the cast off to check the leg to see if that was infected. Obviously, we knew the hip was. And they were like, no, we don't need to. I was like, look, I need you to. Like, I want to know, because he's got metalware in there. Like, I want to know the situation. Took him down, cleaned it all out, put the cast back on. He comes round from that, and he's screaming. He's screaming, screaming in pain. He's like, something's wrong with my leg. The nurses are in. You're not. You're all right. You're all right. Come on, calm down. I'll get you some painkillers. And he's ended up screaming through the night, and they've like cut down the middle of his cast, like just like opened it up, and he like kind of calmed down. And then in the morning, the cast people came around to put a new cast on him. Okay, so this is his leg, right? You've got his kneecap, yeah. Kneecap's facing up because his leg's straight. Took the cast off, and his whole foot is pointing this way. So he's waking up, he's just gone through all of this, and his whole foot is like that. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking joking me. Like, you've got to be joking. He's screaming, like, what have you done to me leg? And they just didn't realign his ankle, because obviously he's got the break there, so his ankle wasn't really attached at all, the bone. So they didn't align his foot and his ankle to the leg bone properly on the operating table. This boy whose medical records are like this thick with so much history of this condition, and they didn't do that. Yeah, they
Honestly,
didn't.
I would look into suing them.
I have. No, I have. And I can only sue them for the first year when he first broke his leg, and they discharged him after 6 weeks, and they said everything was fine when it wasn't. It hadn't fully healed. So they discharged him and let him walk on this break that they should have knew hadn't like started to heal. And that's the only period of time. You'll get about £1,000 if that. And that's only one small story of where they've really like medically neglected him. Like, there's so much more. I could go on and on. There's so many more mistakes that they made for him, which made this whole ordeal even worse. But yeah, I can't. I think I went on a tangent there, but I was
Okay.
getting to something. I can't remember. I can't remember.
It's okay, but honestly, that is just it's really upsetting, hearing this about your son and even hearing from my friend a couple weeks ago, like so many people are just I don't know if it's not caring or like for instance, my friend, she's in her early 20s or maybe mid 20s.
hmm
She has all these illnesses and everyone's like, "Oh, you're young, like you're fine,"
But
or probably nothing.
do you know what I think it is, Sonia? I think we're living such disconnected lives now. The food, the social media, the phones, like that everyone is so overwhelmed. Like, the systems are overwhelmed, hospitals, doctors, like individually, everyone is overwhelmed. So like, people don't even have the space within themselves to like hold space for another person. And it's like, I feel like this is the movement that's happening, like with humanity. Like we're all being forced to heal. And I don't think we can get away from that because we can't rely on this way of living anymore. It's destroying us. Like it's having such a negative impact on us
Yeah.
than how it used to be. It's all getting a little bit out of control, and we need to like take our powers back and learn ourselves and learn what traumas, learn what triggers, what we've gone through, what pains, and free ourselves from all of that.
Yeah.
Learn our bodies, and that's like the best thing we could do for humanity and other people and ourselves.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of different angles you can approach where the
Yeah,
problem started, but it's like at the end of the day, I feel like so many people just hold in their emotions no matter what it
yeah.
is, and they ignore it, and it builds over years of time, and it's like,
But we're so
you know,
distracted, aren't we? We're so distracted living like this life that is just so, it's just distraction with every minute of the day to keep this system going and making money for people. And you like, it's just pointless. We're just losing ourselves, like losing our light, and like we've just become like these robots that are just like running away from our true selves without even realizing it's happening, just existing.
yeah. I do tend to blame parents a lot, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like, you're bringing these children to the world, which
Mhm.
sometimes even for the wrong reasons, but regardless, you're bringing these
Mhm.
children to the world, and you're just letting the screen take up all of their time.
Yeah.
You have no idea what they're looking at, no idea what's
Mhm.
being shown to them, like,
Mhm.
it's really horrible, and it upsets me as so I'm a stepmom, I don't have, complete control over what my stepchildren are doing, but it's sad to me, when they bring their tablet or whatever and they don't even talk. They don't even,
Yeah.
and I take it away and then I hear them singing and laughing and like, making up shit in their room. But it's eerie how quiet the house becomes
Silent. And
on
like
its own.
the in this virtual world of just like, and it's not even real. It's just
Yeah, it's not even.
they're like, that's like they're learning like escapism already. Like
But
when I was,
what's scary is you said it's not even real, but they don't know that it's
they
not
don't
real.
know. They don't know. They don't know.
I try to tell my stepdaughter all the time because she's turning 7 soon, but I'm like, "Girl, you know that's not real, right?" She's like, "But it's on the screen." I'm like, "Honey, nothing on there is real. Please do not, like, take this in."
Yeah, and they like they save the money and they buy all the things and stuff like that. Like I worry with Mason because he learned how to like self-soothe through scrolling through TikTok and like this on his PlayStation. Like he got all his frustration out. Like I don't know what. At the same time, I don't know what I would have done without that because
Yeah.
we were so stuck. Um, but I'm still very aware of the damage that could have done. But I get like, again, like back to the parents thing, like this is why this is so important to do. Like I had so much guilt of how things were when Mason was 5 and he dealt with that loss. Like I put us in that situation. Like I that wasn't the only abusive relationship I was in. Do you know what I mean? Like that it got to a point where I was like, Helen, like this is on you. Like this is fucking really on you. Like you can't blame that man anymore. You can't blame him. Like what are you gonna do?
Mhm.
And that was, we moved in this house, and then I think that was when I really went within me. And that was when the universe was like conspiring. They were like, right, let's go. Like let's take it on this. And I think that's really important. We have to like, everything is a mirror of what we've got inside. Everything in our lives is mirroring back to us what we need to see. And we can't, I think sitting and blaming people and being angry towards other people is a big problem. Like I've been angry at people. There's still people that I'm hurt, but I know I've got to face that and forgive them. Like
Yeah.
it's a process, and for me, there's a lot of incidents and people and things like that. But I always like, I'm trusting. Like I'm getting there. I'm working through
Mhm.
one thing at a time, and like I have to take my power back as a woman. Like not even just as a man, but as a fucking woman. Like I deserve that in this world. I deserve that.
You do. You deserve so much, and, like, I'm just so freaking happy for you, I really am. I think one thing that's important to remember is the universe conspired for you to save your son, but on the same kind of token, the universe also conspired for all that pain to happen. With any
Yeah,
miraculous story, like there's the pain before it that created the opportunity for the miracle
exactly.
through.
Exactly. And we could sit and be hurt about that pain, but like look at all the gifts that it gave. Yes, it's hurt and it was the hardest thing I ever went through. And it will be for my son as well. But like I mean it's brought me and him so close. Like don't get me wrong, we have a normal mom and teenage son relationship where he just hates me sometimes.
Yeah,
But like we have like such a deep, like purposeful relationship now
yeah,
where he knows I've got him and I'm always here to like understand him. That's so important to me now. Like I'm never gonna like put my expectations on him because I don't have any. And you are you and I've got you.
Aw, I love that so much. Honestly, like, I'm just so, so grateful that you're willing to share your story. And that was so powerful and just, oh my God, there's no words that exist that I could possibly say for how much it means to me that he's better and that
I
you were the
know.
one to do it for him.
I know.
You're so strong and brave for sharing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome and thank you for letting me like do it on here. Like I've always wanted to talk about it and I just didn't know when or how or like it was one of them, but I think this was the most perfect way to share it, especially like just with how we came in each other's lives and how you've helped me. And you had your little input in there as well. And it's just beautiful. Like this is the first time I've spoke about it with you in this space 3 year later, the exact month he had his last break, pulls out his bloody football strip. And it's just like that in itself is so aligned and beautiful.
I agree. I
It
agree.
is.
Thank
So
you
thank
so,
you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you,
No,
Mia.
the pleasure really is mine. Honestly, it means so much to me just that I helped in any way, no matter how it was. But thank you for being on. I'm sure we'll have
Thank
you
you so
again.
much. Yeah. Have a lovely, lovely evening.
You too. Love you, girl.
Bye.